5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's time to count down reality TV's most talked about moments with Amanda Bella. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Bella Talks TV. It's Amanda Bella here, and I'm in my house, sitting at my kitchen table, looking out at the storm rolling in on the East Coast. I don't know where you guys are listening from, but chaos is about to ensue here. Like, summer has officially ended, and I can feel it. I just feel a little bit of fall spooky energy in the air, if you guys know what I mean, because it has been quite the week in Bravo entertainment and reality TV news. So let's get right into it this week. I know this episode's a little bit late this week. I've had so much going on. I mean, even as I'm sitting here, I'm still fighting with Candy. We are in a fight right now. We're in a duel because she won't stop eating. Like, I don't know if it's this new house. I don't know if it's just her getting like, she wants to go lay in the yard all the time and have something to eat. I don't know what's going on with her, but she literally will not stop terrorizing me. So if you guys hear her in the background or if I need to stop and snap at her, I will warn you. But besides that, honestly, you guys, like, I've been trying to get settled this month. You know, I travel a lot, but I purposely took the month of October off so that I could prepare for BravoCon. And again, just a disclaimer always at the top of the episode. If you guys are going to BravoCon, please let me know. Like, please let me know. Let a girl know. Let's hang out. I'm going to be meeting up, going to events. I'll obviously be at the convention, thinking about adding on some of these add-on experiences and stuff like that. But we're going to just have to wait and see what goes on. And eventually, like, I'll feel settled. I got to get my outfits together. I got to get my schedule together. I got to get on the app and get all the panels, because we talked last episode. If you didn't go and listen, go back. Last episode, last week, I went over a little teaser of the BravoCon panel schedule and what people can expect. Again, this is a reminder that you can watch every episode or every panel. There's going to be all of the extras and exclusives available on Peacock. So if you do not have access to Peacock and you're dying for BravoCon content, follow me on Bella Talks TV, Instagram, TikTok. I will be going live. I will be recording so many fun clips and keeping you guys in the loop the entire time that I'm at BravoCon. So outside of BravoCon, let's get right into the news, because I have so many thoughts. I have my OMG and LOL of the week. So if it's your first time here, this episode's a little bit, this is going to be my standard OMG, LOL of the week, and then top 5 countdown of reality TV's most talked about moments. But I also additionally need to talk about a couple of other things outside of that. And I have my camera off, which is so funny. Like, I usually always do a video, but I was just having one of those days today. Like, I could not even look at myself. So it feels kind of weird, actually, and kind of liberating just to be sitting here like in the dark and no one knows what I'm looking like. It feels kind of like radio. So thanks for joining me here, and let's get right into this week's episode. So I want to start with, again, my OMG and LOL of the week, which is something I do every episode. And because it's October and it's National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I also want to make sure that I draw awareness and let everybody know, this is a safe space. I am somebody that you can reach out to if you need help, and that I will do anything, exhaust my resources, like ask any of my friends and family that have ever had a problem. Like, I love to connect people, help people, get them what they need. So if you are somebody struggling, please let me know. I am a survivor of domestic violence myself, and I like to always let people know that I am somebody that can help them, point them in the right direction of getting help and getting what they need, hopefully, to get out of their situation. Now, why I'm bringing this up specifically is because of what has been in the news recently about Denise Richards getting a divorce from Aaron. We know her psychotic, crazy husband that we've seen on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills since he met Denise, which I'm not sure how long they've actually been together or what season it was when he first appeared, but let's find out actually. When Aaron married Denise, I mean, they got married pretty quick. I don't know if they even dated for an entire season before. Okay, so they got married, September 8th, 2018. I remember there was a big reason why they wanted to do that was because of numerology. And as a girly too, who also chose my wedding date based on numerology, I understand why Denise was so set on having an 8 that represents infinity. I think she went into this marriage with Aaron with all of the right intentions. She obviously didn't know that he was like this. I don't think before she married him. I think by the time, because it was such a quick engagement. I'm going to go back and watch this season of Beverly Hills too. I really am curious when 2018, what season of Beverly Hills that was. But I'm especially curious because I just really want to know exactly how this happened. I know that they met and started seeing each other and sleeping together, like in his place of work, in his office, where he was offering electromagnetic, I mean, allegedly, this is all alleged, but I think he was offering like electromagnetic radiation scans or like tuning forks. I'm not 100% sure, but he did actually claim to cure cancer and has been sued. And I think that that's like an ongoing, again, allegedly lawsuit that's happening. But I'm very curious about why, that this is the time now that they have finally filed, like what the camel was that broke the straw's back, because, or the straw that broke the camel's back, because I don't understand. They were so happy. They were so hot and heavy. They were so in love. Like even on Denise Richards and her Wild Things, that was her limited series that was on Peacock. I don't think we're going to be getting a season 2. Obviously, this would be amazing, but I don't agree. I think domestic violence, or like even with Taylor and what happened with her husband, Taylor Armstrong and Russell, trigger warning, suicide. But it's, we lived through some dark times on Bravo as Bravo fans. And so, this is not the darkest of what we've seen, but what I'm trying to say is I don't think that cameras should be like up capturing this. I think that she needs space and time and privacy to heal from this. I mean, they've only filed, they're not officially divorced yet. He's really been public and been saying a lot of shit about her lifestyle, her potential alleged addiction issues. I mean, I just watched the Charlie Sheen documentary, which was amazing. Like, I love a celebrity biopic. I just love it. I don't know what it is. I think it comes from like the days of VH1, like Behind the Music, or even making the video like docuseries style things that were on MTV that just showed like lives of artists and people behind the scenes. And then that is what led into even shows like Cribs. Like that was kind of the original Housewives too. Like, hey, come behind and like look into our homes and see what is going on behind the doors of some of these like celebrity homes. Now, again, that's just like about the material stuff. But then we're also talking about all of the physical, mental stress that it really takes to live at that caliber in the world. Like, more money, more problems is really what I'm trying to say. And so here we are, a real housewife of Beverly Hills another one going through a really, really toxic, dark marriage with physical abuse claims. And I just am really sending lots of well wishes to Denise. I mean, she, again, like in this Charlie Sheen documentary, it really makes sense now because watching her on Wild Things, I mean, she literally was saying, oh, I'll never get divorced again. I'll never, leave Aaron. And I don't know if I'm trying to think, like, he wasn't in all of her confessionals. He probably was like standing there off camera though. Like she obviously she felt like she had to kind of keep that facade up that they were in like a perfect marriage. But that's why it was so confusing when 6 months ago or less than we're watching this show where everything looks perfect for them and they're so in love and, they have a special house that they use just to like have sex in. I mean, who knows? Maybe they just did have like a very physical relationship and then everything else. There are some couples like that. Like, there are some couples like that I guess that are like toxic for each other, but they just have good sex. It's like, I don't know. I've always needed to have a mental connection with somebody. I can't like hate somebody and do that. So yeah, I just think it's so sad. Divorcing after 6 years, all of these claims. And go watch the Charlie Sheen documentary if you haven't yet, because there is a lot of shocking, salacious stuff that is revealed in there. But what I did find the most interesting, like, were his romantic relationships, even his marriage to Brooke Mueller. I mean, you guys, like, this isn't even alleged. They're crackheads. They were crackheads. Were. Charlie has been sober now for 7 or 8 years. He has been undetectable in his HIV diagnosis, and he seems to be repairing his relationship with his daughters, who, Sammy said that, Sammy, when we watched her on Denise and Her Wild Things, she was very open about the fact that she has a lot of resentment towards her dad still. And then she saw the documentary and, a little bit of a spoiler alert, I guess, but Charlie does reveal that, he was doing so much crack and he couldn't ever drive anywhere. And which was really, really good for him. He never, ever got behind the wheel of a car, like when he was, using. And so that was very safe of him, but he had to have people drive him everywhere all the time. And one time he had to be driven to take Sammy to a hair appointment when she was like 13 years old. And he said the experience of seeing her like in the rearview mirror in the backseat of the car, and that's what made him get sober. And so when she saw the documentary and realized, oh my God, my dad got sober because of me, because he had a moment for me, I think that they're working on their relationship. Like one thing ends with Aaron, maybe a rekindling with Charlie. I don't know. Maybe their family will get back together. I mean, that would be beautiful. So not sure. We will see. I don't want to put that pressure on them. I mean, Denise needs to definitely heal, but Charlie's sober now. Like he seems, I also like, I don't know if I didn't ever realize if they're just more private or what, but Charlie and Brooke had twin boys and they named one of them Bob, like Bob Sheen. Oh my God, poor kid. What is the other one named? I'm actually curious. Charlie and Brooke's twins. Max. Okay, yeah. Aw, they're actually cute. I'll post a picture of them on my Instagram so you can see. Brooke's in recovery, I believe, as well, and on the road to hopefully getting and staying sober. Okay, that's enough about that, you guys. Kind of heavy way to start the show, but I promise everything from now on. Well, I can't promise that actually, because now I'm looking at my list and I'm like, there's some dark stuff on here. So let's move right on to my LOL of the week, which you guys might not agree with me. Actually, you might, because at this point, I'm scouring the internet. I'm searching. I'm looking under every rock and every corner, and I cannot find a Lala or a Sheena fan to exist anywhere, which is really sad for the two of them because they banded together and they really went down together. Like they all the way down to the bitter end. And now they're throwing each other under the bus and completely flipping on each other and exposing each other. And it's actually comical to me. And like, what is better than even reality TV sometimes is reality. Now, of course, we're not really missing it necessarily because there's no Bravo cameras on it. They're both going on their podcasts. They're both talking about each other as much as possible in the public eye. They're being very public about it. So it's not like you have to have Bravo cameras rolling to basically be watching a reality TV show about just Lala and Sheena right now. It's like they're having their own little mini spinoff about their feud. But apparently, yes, this has been going on. I talked about where it stems from, which comes back from Sheena's book again, and her not feeling supported by Lala. Fast forward now, it is Saturday, October 11th. So they're still fighting, which they've been fighting since Sheena's book came out, which has been months now. Recently, the biggest thing has been that they were fighting on the phone and Lala was driving with Summer Moon and Ocean in the back seat. And apparently they were fighting on speakerphone and it was in front of the kids. And Sheena then was exposing her for swearing in front of the children. I mean, you guys, who cares? Like Sheena is such a Karen pick me. She just drives me insane. Like she's forcing me to take Lala's side in this feud, which I really wanted to like not take sides, but it is apparent that I think they were both stuffing each other. They were never really like true friends. They were only friends out of convenience and alliance. And obviously that was never going to last, but it was kind of sweet that they thought it was going to, right? I mean, they did make us all believe in it. It's kind of like Angie K and Mary Cosby. Like you start to get invested in some of these friendships and when they fight, it really like hurts you. So I don't know. I'm actually laughing about the stuff that they're fighting about. Nothing seems to be like that serious. It all seems to be pretty like low stakes drama, but Sheena can find any possible way to just spin anything to make herself into a victim. And the having Alex Baskin on her podcast to prove that she was offered a role on the Valley. Okay, good to know. Thanks for clearing that up. Nobody wanted you on there. So I'm glad that you turned it down. But I don't know what is next for her. She's going to try to, I think, get off of reality TV, I heard, and become like a serious actress. All right, great. Love to see it. I would love to see it. Kind of giving me like Lisa Rinna vibes. Like, is Lisa Rinna an actress? Yes, of course. Does she have an Emmy? Potentially. No. A daytime Emmy? Maybe just Days of Our Lives or whatever show she was on has one. So then she's kind of like by association and daytime Emmy winner. I mean, we know that she's never been in any movies that have been good. It's just been Lifetime movies about Kendra Lakari, which again, if you guys never watched that, I think everybody in America has now seen, which I'm so embarrassed that was a Michigan family. And you guys like want to know the sad part is that I'm from even a more north part of Michigan than when they were from. They're from like the Cadillac area, which is about it's like an hour and 40 minutes, an hour and 45 minutes from my hometown. So yes, maybe, yeah. Like if I turn my camera on today, you guys would see like I'm giving Kendra Lakari today, which is why the camera's off. All right, so let's move on to my top 5 countdown of reality TV's most talked about moments of the week. It's a doozy. I have to start with number 5 coming in with the Southern Charm trailer getting dropped this week in our Pretty Little Laps. I wasn't expecting it, but it's been good so far. And I've watched it like 3 or 4 times. And of course, everybody's upset that there are girls fighting over Craig, which I'm not surprised. Again, I mean, have you guys not watched the last 10 seasons of this show? I'm loving that there was not a mention of Paige. I think Craig just made one comment or whatever, like, it feels nice to be single or it feels nice to be able to be with other girls and not feel guilty or something. I don't know. He made some kind of over like comment like that in the trailer. And it's like, yeah, I'm sure it does. Paige kept her foot on Craig's neck the entire time they were together. So I bet he does feel more free and more able to just like go out and do whatever he wants. That's kind of the point. But I'm so happy. Again, I just have to say that Paige got off reality TV. I'm so glad we can have our peace watching this season of Southern Charm again and like have it have nothing to do with Summer House or Southern or any of that. It's like, let's just go back to what's going on in Charleston and keep it down there and not be bringing it into what's going on with like Kyle and Amanda. Kyle and Amanda have nothing to do with Craig. It made me so mad. All that made me so mad. I got so riled up last season. I used to have so much time. I used to have so much time to like talk about that stuff. And now I feel like I have no time to make memes anymore. I really loved like that era of TV last year because it was so dramatic and it was so like high stakes for everybody. It was like, whose side are you taking? Paige or Craig? Almost as dramatic as Carl and Lindsay. But the fact that they're like made, you guys, like Carl and Lindsay are gonna be friends again. They're already basically friends again. So I'm living for that. I want them and Danielle. I can't even say it because I know I'm the only person who would ever say that, but like I want them to have their own spinoff. Like Lindsay, Carl, and Danielle like all moved back in together and just were like a new girl version. It's like 3 of them and then like the baby. Like that would be such a good show. They are all reality TV gold to me. So, okay. Anyways, I'm getting off the track with Southern Charm. Of course, I miss Summer House. Can you tell? I can't. There were like really no leaks about this season, which scares me. Maybe it's not going to be very good. But it's going to be crazy to see Kyle and Amanda have like their farewell and then see it transition into the spinoff. I'm very excited. But what else is going on in the Southern Charm trailer? So Madison is pregnant. She looks beautiful. I have been skeptical and critical of Brett in the past. We know how I feel about Mormon men. But I actually thought that was so sweet in the trailer when, she was like, oh, have you ever been so in love with someone? Talking about the baby. And he's like, yeah, you. Like, that was really sweet. Can't like, and it seemed to be kind of like in the car cam, which maybe he thought no one really like watches. It wasn't like when the crew was at their house where he did it performatively. So that made me like him. Like that jumped from like a 2 to an 8 real quick. I'm really sad JT got ran off this show. Again, I know, very unpopular opinion. I thought he was great TV, absolutely insane, delusional. Benita, I'm trying to have that same perspective with her. Like, okay, she's insane and delusional. So therefore, why can't I also like hype her up and like love when she's being crazy? I just don't know. I think it's because it feels like inauthentic for her. To me, I think that she's actually a genuinely nice person who probably is a girl's girl and is like a sweetie who will do anything for you type of girl. But she's kind of portraying herself as a villain on the show. And that's why I feel like I'm not liking it. So her going up to Sally in the trailer and telling her that Craig's going to walk her like a dog until he's done with her. I mean, isn't that what reality TV is for? Aren't these things that we want to see? Like, people don't even like Sally. It'd be kind of good to see her get beat up a little bit by Craig. I mean, and I don't mean that as I just go on a whole rant about domestic violence. I meant like spiritually. Like, I think Sally has a very interesting personality, and she does come off actually like inherently confident and also slightly delusional because of the fact that she's been on so many reality shows. Like Bachelor Nation in its own world is absolutely insane. So anybody who goes into that blender and comes out, we know is already going to have like a couple screws missing. But then to get catapulted from Bachelor Nation into Bravo and get picked up like into the reality TV realm, and you guys, like, I have to remind everybody, at least like I think like quarterly, I remind everyone that the reason why she got into this circle in Charleston is because she made out with Joe Bradley and like went to his apartment and he made her chicken parm. Please go tell me if you haven't watched Southern Hospitality, like you have, I actually feel like you are missing out on like a huge piece of Bravo lore. There are so many connections from Joe. Okay, I'm talking about Joe Bradley right now, who made out with Sally. Joe slept with Countess Luann when he was dating Danielle Oliveira. Okay, like these are things that you can't make this shit up. Like this is the Bravo incestuous web continues to weave. So you just have to watch Southern Hospitality to really even understand all of Southern Charm too now and all the crossovers. Because there's also the crossover between Taylor Ann, because she was also showing up on Southern Hospitality and was in Southern Charm. And there's just a lot of things going on there. So, okay, what else goes on in the Southern Charm trailer? Austin and Craig are fighting again, which seems like all season. They're not in a good place. Austin definitely inherently like, and Craig says this too in the trailer, like, Austin, you just really hate me. And Austin's like, yes, I actually do hate you. I'm starting to believe that Austin does hate Craig, which is sad. But that's what happens in friendships. Like it starts out great because you're besties, doing everything together, inseparable for months, maybe even for years. And then a partner can come along, and I am not being misogynistic in placing this on Paige. Craig is completely responsible for his male friendships and what happens to them when he's in a relationship. But I'm just saying, he did become so infatuated with Paige and like made that his center of the world and was so sure he was going to marry her that like he didn't even need male friends anymore. Like all he wanted to do was work and be married, have kids. He's really been on that like track for himself. And we just see another season of him doing basically the opposite of that, dating around, being a fuckboy, and talking down to everybody. So he is our lovable Southern villain. And I'm really hoping that Shep has a good season. He really got his ass beat by the Bravo fans last year. And he's one of my favorite people to interact with at BravoCon or Bravo Fan Fest and all those things. Just such a genuinely nice guy. Always grateful to all of the fans. And I also think that he like takes the panel seriously, which is a random thing to say, but a lot of these people get up on stage or whatever and they've never done a live panel or they've never even held a microphone. Even these reality TV stars, they might not be familiar with all of that. Like think about West Wilson on his first reunion, right? Like in a new environment, all of a sudden you just don't have anything to say. That's what happens to some of these people. So naturally, some people are a star. I have to say Craig is one of them, and Shep. Okay, so let's move on to my number 4 most talked about. I don't think anything else happened in the trailer, right? I'm trying to think. Shep, Austin and Audrey, whatever. Who cares about that? Shep, JT's gone, RIP. Vanita, is Vanita dating Carl? Like, remember those rumors? I mean, they've never been seen together, so I don't think so. But if she says one mean thing about Carl, I swear to God. I swear to God. Okay, let's move on to my number 4 most talked about moment of the week. I mean, at this point, I can call myself out. I can totally be realized enough to know that I'm being a hater on Brittany. Like, I mean, I think I've been saying this for like, when did the Valley come out? A couple of years now. I've been triggered by her, and she's again in my countdown every week. And I have to just give a shout out to Lori K. Public Relations, because this girl works harder than the president, which isn't saying that much, but works harder than anyone I've ever known. And she keeps Brittany in these headlines. I mean, every day I wake up and I have to hear something about Brittany Cartwright. Like it's force fed to me. And so I have to just say, like, her PR is amazing. Lori K is a genius. But now everyone's talking about her mommy makeover, because she posted to her Instagram that she has decided to get rid of something that's been weighing her down for many years. And that was alluding to the implants that Jax bought her on her first season of Vanderpump Rules when they were first dating. And I understand, they went bigger on her, but she loved those boobs, you guys, for years. So don't be fooled. She wasn't like somebody who had a botched surgery and then, or had, somebody put in, even though I don't like, who even knows how true this is? If Jax is making like a joke, like I'm pretty sure that this would be like malpractice if this was even true. So I don't think it is. But she said that, that she went under that day to get her implants put in, and that they went up in a size more than what she had asked for, but that she was like happy with them. Now, what I will say about that is that it's very common that the doctor doesn't know what size you're going to get. And then it's very common that when you're down, you're under anesthesia, they open you up, they're preparing to do your implant, and there is a chance that they will go either bigger than you agreed on or smaller than you agreed on based on what the doctor thinks actually is right. They may also have to put one size in one boob and put a different size in the other to make them match. Like, you're basically telling the doctor, like, I trust you that when you get me in there, you're going to give me like what's going to look the best. Of course, if you're like, hey, I have a hard stop at this, then you have that agreement with your doctor. But like a lot of the times it is more of a like, oh, let's see if this will fit. And if it doesn't, we'll go down. Or, they have to try a couple different sizes. It's like Cinderella, right? You can't just put it on the first time and expect it to fit. So that's all I'm going to say about her original surgery. She never once said that she was mad about the doctor or whatever. She loved those boobs for years. She loved her marriage with Jax for years. So all of a sudden for her to be like, oh yeah, and I hated it all this time or whatever. Okay, no, I actually think God bless her. God bless her. She's a woman. She had a baby. Cruz is amazing. And I love everything that she does. That's one thing I will never, ever be able to knock on her about. I'll never say a negative thing about really her parenting or her and how she handles Cruz and his diagnosis of being on the spectrum, because she really is an angel for that and a blessing. And even Sherry, as much as I make fun of her mom, I think that it's great that Sherry comes and helps with Cruz and understands and accepts. Like they're all like accepting the diagnosis, which is the number one most important thing. Like when you have parents, grandparents that are in denial, that are just like, oh yeah, no, he'll be fine. He'll grow out of it. It's like, no, okay, we all need to live in reality. So I will say that is the number one most amazing thing. I think that she did deserve this mommy makeover. And I'm very curious, like, was this the $25,000 that she got from Special Forces? Like the show aired, the episode aired, the check was direct deposited into her account, and she was in on that table ASAP. So she got a tummy tuck and she got the implants that Jax originally bought taken out. They are gone. I wonder if they will end up in the clubhouse with Tamra's. I'm very curious. I mean, those are famous implants. And now they're going to be smaller. She's still going to have implants in, which I was like, is that necessary? But again, I trust the doctor and she's going to be healing from this. Now, something that's very, very common with mommy makeovers, not that I'm manifesting this for her, but the results do not last if you do not continue to work out. Fat will just grow back, like liposuction. Breasts, they will just grow. Sometimes they'll come back 4 times the size they were before. So she's really, really, really going to have to work on her health from the inside out. And I've like never, she seems to be like a decent cook. I mean, as far as, I think she cooks a lot of like Southern food and pasta and stuff, but whatever, at least she cooks at home. I don't think that she's like a fast food girly or anything like that. But I think that she just has, a lot of drinks, has a lot of shots, and those are a very high caloric value. And if you're not working out, and which I understand, she's the mother of an autistic child. She may not have time to go to the gym. She may not have someone to watch him. She has Zuli. I mean, she's had that nanny Zuli since Cruz was born. So I don't want to say that. I think that she actually could have make the time to take care of herself. But again, I'm not judging her for that. I just really, really hope that this is everything that she wanted and that this is like a new leaf for her. I really do want to champion her and hope that this is going to be great. Okay, so that's enough about Brittany this week. Oh my God. I hate myself for even caring and having so much to say. She's kind of like my new Lindsay Hubbard. It's like when Lindsay's off the air, I talk about Brittany. And then when Lindsay comes back, I'm like, okay, perfect. I can just go back to talking about Lindsay now. Like I need somebody to be my outlet. Okay, so my number 3 most talked about moment of the week is in the Love is Blind realm. So if you guys, spoilers ahead for sure. If you're not caught up, definitely skip ahead. But I do encourage you guys to catch up as soon as possible because new episodes are already dropping on Wednesday and we're almost going to be to the weddings and you can't hide from spoilers forever. It is not my responsibility. So you need to go catch up. Episodes 6 through 9 just dropped, but the most important moment that I need to talk about is this chicken smoothie that Jordan made because it is diabolical and I've never heard or seen anything like this before. It needs to be studied. I'm afraid of him. I'm afraid of him and what he's capable of because if you're able to go to a place mentally where you can like compartmentalize that much, where you can take a baked chicken breast and put it in a Ninja, add a pack of Crystal Light, and just go tap it off with a little bit of tap water. Oh my God. I have chills. I have the fucking chills. Watching him blend that into a smoothie and drink it. And she tried it. Sparkle Megan tried it. What is wrong with her? She loves this man. She's down bad for him. She's down so bad for him if she's willing to drink the chicken smoothie. I'm going to have nightmares about this for the rest of my life. I cannot believe it. And I actually think my official prediction is that they're the only couple that gets married this season, because she does seem, I mean, when you have I have watched every single episode of Long Island Medium and Tyler Henry Medium. There are other mediums out there, but those are the two that I care about the most and that am obsessed with. You know, when you get signs, when you believe in signs from loved ones who have passed, it is one of the strongest convictions you can feel. It's paranormal, and it is a connection to something that's not there. And it's actually very remarkable, because you can end up changing the trajectory of your life because of some of these signs and symbols that you may receive from someone who has passed on. And with Sparkle Megan specifically, her dad passing of diabetes, and then her meeting Jordan, Luca, who has diabetes, and this cycle that she believes that her father brought Luca to her to be his mother, well, his stepmom, but I mean, the mom is in the picture. She meets the mother. We don't see her on camera, Skylar. And I want to look them up, because Jordan is obviously, I mean, it says branch manager. So he works at a bank, which is fine. He's giving reformed punk kid, or possible was in an emo band, like a D-list emo band that toured. But then when that stopped, he had to get a job because he's covered in tattoos and stuff. And Sparkle Megan loves it. Megan is into him. They're so in love, and he's tall and he has hair, and it's got he checks all these boxes for her that on paper she's like, okay, great. But she's obviously going to be the breadwinner in their relationship, and she talks a lot about having money and having this house that was 1.5 million, that I don't know if from her dad passing from diabetes, did he leave her money that she was able to invest, and how did she become so rich? Because she does talk about being an entrepreneur, but I looked up her website, you guys, and she's just doing nutrition counseling on the side. Not to be a hater, but it's kind of like being a life coach. Her website didn't look that great or expensive or luxurious. I mean, I'm really not trying to be like that, I'm sure, but I think it's just kind of giving okay, I came from family money, and I invested well, or I have a pretty good job, but I never really had to use any of my own money to kind of, she's just kind of giving secure that. And then she talked about how she had a much older boyfriend who I think was close to a billionaire, she said, with a B. So, I mean, she obviously is used to older men and kind of having this lifestyle. So for her to go now for Jordan, the punk Chase branch manager, single dad, it is very interesting. It's giving real connection. So I'm rooting for them. I think Annie and Nick are the true spawns of Satan. If you guys know anything about the Denver airport, I think are they from the Denver airport? Were they born there? Were they conceived there on cursed grounds? Because something's going on with Annie. She's possessed. She's completely possessed. When she has that fight, first of all, on TikTok, there's some really good edits of just screenshots of the faces that she makes, because I'm not 100% sure what's going on there with that. But then in combination with Nick, Nick being the one that she chose, and then them just being so in love and her being so infatuated with him, when this man, to everybody in America, and potentially even, I mean, he's a self-proclaimed size queen. I mean, what are we going to do with this information? What are we going to do with this information? Why does Annie want to marry this man so bad? How is she not seeing it? Because I don't have the best gator either. It's giving, I mean, what was that? Who was that guy from last season in Minneapolis? That it was Sarah and whoever Sarah, oh my gosh, remember he kept going to church and taking her. It's giving that relationship a little bit, Lavender, okay, this is the perfect opportunity for somebody to not see me, because once you see this man, it's very clear. So is that what his motivation was? And I totally understand where she got confused, because he definitely said, oh, I love to ski. I live up an hour outside of Denver, and I love to ski, and I have one tattoo on my forearm, which is Mount whatever. It's a mountain. So I know she's picturing this lumberjack. It's just crazy. It's actually crazy. They're just the most confusing relationship for me. I'm starting to understand Calabria and Edmund a little bit more, because to me, it would have been done after he flipped out about, in Mexico, about not being the only one. She's being very patient with him, but I also think she is being a little bit calculated, knowing okay, I know that this man is not in the right state of mind. I don't think that I think she's slowly piecing together like, okay, like this is good for me to like know this man, but like I cannot marry him. And you can see that each episode is starting to peel back a little bit more and more and more. So I'm actually just curious like when it's going to finally dawn on her that that cannot continue. It's just not going to work out. And I mean, all of the Casey and Patrick of it all, I mean, I was really disappointed. I was so excited for Anna to finally come into the night where all of the people from the pods came that were the singles that didn't get chosen to be in the marriages. So they basically all have a night. It's kind of like a mixer where all of the couples come and then all of the people who also didn't get chosen come, and they get to come and kind of have their moment. Like Kate got to come and talk to Nick and kind of have her little redemption scene. Annie was expecting Brendan to like come and fight for her, and everybody was like, dude, like don't do it. She's kind of crazy. Like let her and Nick go off into the wilderness together. And they were able to like kind of talk him out of it, which I think was the right choice. Like I didn't want to see more of Brendan anyway. And Mike comes and tries to talk to Megan, and Megan's straight up like, nope, you have literally a 0% chance of winning me back. I think I made the right choice with Jordan. Basically lose my number, like never call me again. So very different than last Love is Blind seasons, because usually when the singles come in, it gets very messy and things start happening. Infidelity, sneaking around, late night texts, DMs, like there's something every season, usually after that mixer. But this time all the couples like stay strong in their couples, and none of the singles really mix anything up for them, except for Calabria and Edmund like have a total meltdown again, because I see what his problem is. He is a perpetual victim, which comes from him being in foster care. So like he is a victim. He is a victim of what he went through. So it's unfortunately now his trauma, I think, has become his entire personality. And it's just shining through in every single situation with her. Like she is doing her best to navigate it, but he's self-sabotaging and also just finding new ways to basically tell on himself for being not emotionally prepared or mature enough to go through this process. So the whole thing is just very confusing, and I'm feeling like unsafe watching it. I think we all agree like it's not fun to watch. Unfortunately, that's kind of what's been going on in Love is Blind. Now, my number 2 most talked about moment of the week is truly a jaw dropper. Could have been my OMG moment of the week. I mean, I'm glad I dedicated it to Denise and Aaron because we had to talk about that. But what's most insane about this revelation about Julia and Adriana sleeping together in the Hamptons is that, of course, I was here running my mouth last week, being like, there's no way. It's so obvious. Like Frankenstein editing in the trailer, like it's not going to be that. It was totally that. Like Julia just decides to totally throw not only herself under the bus, especially Adriana, basically outing her. And because as much as Adriana has maybe flirted with women over the years or been like a very European and Brazilian, leading with her sexuality and always being very sexy, she's never been on screen, on the Real Housewives dating women or talking about being with women ever. She's always been married or into men, dating men, having a boyfriend. So when Julia came onto the scene, I think it was just presumed that Adriana was maybe bisexual because she always flirted with Julia and they were so close and they were best friends. And they definitely had like a little bit of sexual tension on camera together. But then to find out that Julia actually came on to Adriana the first night that they met, like in a bathroom at like some kind of event that was going on that they met at, like this was off camera before Housewives. And then she came on to her very strongly. I'm not even going to get into, you guys watched it. Go watch the Peacock uncensored version because I don't really even like discussing like what went down between them. Again, that's like kind of their own intimate details. And again, Adriana didn't even want this out as far as I know. Now she went on the Two Teas in a Pod podcast, which again, you guys, I'm sorry, I listen religiously. And if you guys are going to call Tamra a blogger, you better be calling Dolores a blogger because she's on Two Teas in a Pod every single week. Is she a blogger? I don't think people are calling her a blogger in the streets. I don't think anybody would call her a blogger to her face. So the fact that people feel so inclined to call Tamra a blogger is funny to me. But luckily, the proof is so in the pudding with Orange County Housewives that I don't even have to talk about them this week because it's just so obvious that Gretchen is a total flop. Anyways, it feels good to take a break from talking about them this week. But the whole Julia and Adriana of it all, like the fact that she decided to take this reunion moment to expose it. I mean, of course there are posts online saying that Martina is looking at divorce lawyers now, which I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. In my heart of hearts, I do think that it was discussed with Martina ahead of time. She was aware of it. She probably wasn't happy, but it depends on how famous. I mean, we've seen it. Like this is not the craziest thing to propose that Julia is obsessed with being a housewife and would do anything to continue to stay on the show. Because if she even heard that she was on the chopping block, which she had a very bad season, and it was especially with Martina's comments about the surrogacy that she was not happy, that she does not believe in, and all of that. On top of all of that, which I was on my Instagram saying that too. Like if Julia gets fired, the reason why was because secretly was because of the surrogacy comments. I could totally see that being like the real truth. But anyway, she obviously threw a Hail Mary. She was like, this might be my last time I'm ever on TV, which is so sad that she took this chance to expose Adriana. Now, her saying that she was convinced that Adriana was going to throw it out there, which is why she had to beat her to it. This is why I'm bringing up the Two T's in a Pod podcast, because they brought her on. Dolores and Teddy called Adriana and they brought her on. And she explained that what she was actually going to expose about her was the fact that she came up with the entire storyline and that she was the one that for Julia to have the opera concert for Martina's cancer, which is kind of a big deal because nobody really liked Julia. But then when she did that and had that moment for Martina, and it was like so thoughtful because the way that Martina supposedly said, oh, for when I was having my chemo treatments, the only thing that would get me through was listening to classical music and opera. And that's how I fell in love with it. And now she had this like heartwarming reason why opera saved her life. So for Julia to then become an opera singer, it was very touching and like such a dedication of love to her wife. But then to find out that that was just all Adriana's idea and that she hired the voice coach and that she gave the baby grand piano and, basically gave the space at her home for Julia to come and practice so that Martina would never see her and it would stay a secret. Like it wasn't just like a one-time thing. Then she also paid for the party. Adriana's like, I paid for the whole party too to celebrate Martina. And like she was just such a good friend to her, and to get treated like this, I'm totally team Adriana forever. And I really hope that after all of this, exposing all of this, that she's not rewarded and that she is still fired. Because that's crazy. Julie's out here acting crazy. It's like there are some people that are like spooky, and she's acting spooky. So yeah, speaking of that, we've gotten to my number one most talked about moment of the week. And this is only something that came out yesterday. And I'm so glad that I waited to record this week's episode because that always happens to me. I always record my episode and I shut my laptop and I post it. And then like an hour later, breaking news comes out and I'm like, fuck, I just recorded. Like now I can't talk about that for a week. So I'm so happy to report that I have been here and I get to be on the beat about something, which, there were so many breaking podcasts that came out yesterday. People were literally running to their mics to go on about this. So I knew everybody else was going to be like doing that. I'm like, let me just ruminate on this for 24 hours and see if anything else comes out. But we have gotten to Dr. Wendy and Happy Eddie getting officially arrested, and the mugshots are mugshotting. Okay. Wendy's looking crazy out here. Eddie looks absolutely insane. Please go look up these mugshots. I'm sure you've seen them. They look crazy. And what's more insane are these charges because they have been accused of insurance fraud and, not just like, not just a little bit of fraud. And it's so funny because with insurance fraud charges, with these specific ones or whatever statutes they're dealing with, it was in excess of $300. And that's what is the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony in the United States of America. Just so you guys know, when it comes to fraud or theft or whatever, if you go to Target and you steal $200, then you're going to get a misdemeanor. If you go to Target and you steal anything over $300, you're getting a felony and facing prison time. So once you go over that $300 limit anywhere, no matter what you're doing, that's the threshold into being a felony. So because they have 16 counts of fraud over $300, they're looking at, her and Eddie both are looking at a lot of jail time. It's really giving Teresa and Joe. It is, because they were in on it together and they were both aware and they're both going to go away, which is really sad. One's going to have to go and then the other one's going to have to come back and switch, just like Teresa and Joe. Now, what incriminated them is, just like Dorinda said, say it, forget it, write it, regret it. And they were sending emails to each other talking about fraud and adding luxury items to the list, and they were returning items and getting them full refunds and claiming they were stolen. So this was a whole operation. This wasn't a one-time thing. This was something that went on for months, and they obviously started to inspect them. And everybody's now saying, like, Andy's definitely working for the feds. Like, how many more housewives can we take going to prison? Karen just got out. I'm seeing so many funny memes about Karen does the candle, Wendy does the candle. Karen goes to prison, Wendy goes to prison. Like, the grand dame cannot be beat. Often replicated, never duplicated. Set the scene. Oh my gosh, Wendy and Eddie. It's like not funny. And I do feel so bad for their kids. And it's like, come on. Like, I understand keeping up with the Joneses. I do. And at least there are no victims. Like, I will say that there are no victims of this. They didn't hurt anybody. Their actions haven't affected anybody else besides their insurance company. So I am very happy about that. But it's just, it doesn't look good as a professor of Johns Hopkins University. And Eddie's also a lawyer, which we know that he's pivoted into medical marijuana sales. Or Happy Eddie, I don't know if that's just a strain. I don't know if it's just one store that they have. I'm not exactly sure, but it's just not looking good. And what's sad is that this whole season now of Potomac, we're going to be kind of watching it like Scandival, like looking for clues of when they were filming. Like, oh, is she wearing that wedding band? Is she wearing, the Birkin? Is that the Birkin in the closet over there that she said was stolen? I wonder if any of this footage was given to the FBI. So that is an unfolding, ongoing story. We will continue to report on that. But that does bring me to the end of this episode, you guys. So I'm so glad that we had another week together of going over reality TV's most talked about moments. And stay tuned, because every week we're here talking about more and more. Because sometimes you just cannot believe, like 1 week ago when I was sitting in this chair, did I think I'd be talking about Wendy and Eddie? No. Like, you never see these things coming. They hit you out of nowhere. And that's what makes me get behind the mic and come spend this time with you guys every week. So please make sure you're supporting the show. Rate it 5 stars, leave a loving review, let people know what you like about the show, and share it, and just be a peach and give me some love and give me some support out in these streets. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys here next week. And make sure, again, you're following at Bella Talks TV, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. All right. Love you guys. Ciao, Bellas.